Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is wonderful to be here with you on this beautiful day of life. Thank you for being with us. Today, we're going to be talking about how to know God. And the title of our talk today is Meditation, the Secrets to Divine Self Knowledge. Getting to know yourself and your divine self is humility in action.
Welcome to Success Through Meditation. I'm Shakti, coming to you from a lineage of enlightenment to help you to see, honor, and love the light within yourself so that you can see, honor, and love the light within others.
I spoke last week about humility and how having humility is paramount to a spiritual journey, because without it, your forward mobility stops. Without it, without humility, spiritual growth stops. Self-discovery stops. So it is very important to know humility, how to access it, how to be it. Actually, it is your true self, just like meditation, just like enlightenment, just like God. It is you. And knowing this takes humility. To know who you truly are, to realize your own divinity takes humility. You know, people spend an inordinate amount of time on the pathway of self-discovery focused on themselves, and they forget about God. Equaling humility. They forget about humility. They forget about God. God is and will always be. God is existence itself. But few people ever consider God, humility, meditation, source. It's a forgotten subject in general. But of course, there are so many books, as I was saying, there are so many books that you can read, so many books written about God, about humility, about spiritual knowledge, so many books. Talks have been given on the subject of God. People attempt to show you the way to God, but these people are talking about their own ideas about God, not so much about God. It's about their own ideas about God. So not much is known about God. People know how to have children, how to raise children. Well, some people know how to raise children. So some people know how to build tall buildings, how to have careers, how to build bombs. How to pave roads, how to make cars, how to program computers, but don't know anything about God. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So how do you get to know God? How do you get to know God? With humility and the need to get to know God. With humility, you can see God's perfection. Simply looking in the mirror, you can see God's perfection and the presence of a power greater and more complete within. With humility, one recognizes and accepts life as the beautiful mystery that it is, filled with rainbow eucalyptus, filled with waterfalls, unimaginable beauty, filled with palm trees swaying in the wind, sunsets that leave you in awe of another day of life. One, with humility, one is able to accept life and the beautiful mystery that it is. With vanity, some will attempt to define God, to explain the mystery of God. The more they talk about God, the less you know. There is nothing I can tell you about God. Nothing. Nothing that I can tell you. Nothing that I can speak of when it comes to God. Maybe I can suggest how you might find God. Certainly. Then you can deal with God yourself. Because that's the point, isn't it? Except God is limitless. When you accept that idea that God is limitless awareness, then that's it. That's your answer. And that's all I know, that God is limitless awareness. But it takes humility to realize this within your own being, to realize your own divinity. It takes accepting that God is limitless awareness. You probably, I'm sure, have some notions about God that were given to you. I'm sure you do. We all did. Most of us did. You were taught what to believe, when to believe, how to believe. Because society has a thing about God. There is a thing about God. Our currency even mentions God, right? Our currency even mentions God. I don't know much about God. And I certainly don't talk about God very much. Religions, of course, attempt to speak on the subject, but they end up talking more about religion's dogma, self-importance, and not much about how to know God. And, God isn't important really to most people. To get to know God isn't high on the list of priorities for most people. Getting to know God is not high on the list of their priorities. So here it is. The way to know God is meditation. There. There it is. The way to know God is meditation. When you meditate, you experience God. And that's how you get to know God. You experience God. Now, there are, of course, some who meditate, and in meditation, they see a higher version of themselves. They experience bliss with a perhaps fancier mirror of themselves. But to get to know God takes an openness, openness to the universe, to all that exists, to all of existence, knowing that we are one together. There truly is no me, no you. We are one. So when you embrace this idea about meditation and humility and God and the universe, having an openness to this idea, you begin to experience God. Not the universe that you see. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the universe that you feel. The universe that you hold within. To know God, we learn to listen in meditation. Not with our thoughts, without thought. Learning to stop thought, we learn to listen. God is very quiet. God doesn't speak the way you think. God is silent. God is beyond this physical dream. So we must dissolve the ideas, all of the ideas of who we think God is, and learn to become friends with God. We have to let go of all of the ideas that we think we know to get to know God through experience, to become friends with God. Get to know God and become intimate friends. And remember God in your daily lives. Remember, recognize God within your being. God was, is, and will always be you. We have come from God, and certainly we will return to God. It takes humility to realize this, that God is pure awareness, pure love, and that is where you came from and where you will return. So in the meantime, in the middle of getting here and leaving here, the idea is to get to know God and be friends with God once again. And this takes humility. God realization means merging with God, with Source. There is a yearning, a longing to know God. If you read the book of Sri Ramakrishna, you see in the book the yearning that comes from wanting to be friends with God or wanting to know God, crying to know God. There is a yearning. So asking yourself what you want is an important aspect. What do you want in this moment? I'm going to ask the question, what do you want? Do you know? What do you want? Do you want to know God? Do you want to be friends with God? Through humility, you will be shown with the path, the spiritual path, you will be shown that one of the things that's needed is to be around people who also want to be with or who do already know God, who are friends with God, who want to know God in every aspect of their lives, who want to realize and understand their own divinity, that aspect that they hold within, the universal consciousness, the universal silence of God within. And as you do this, as you find yourself and put yourself around people who do want to know God, your light will increase. Your vibration will be elevated through meditation. Be, just be. Remember, there is only light. So sit with your best friend, with God, in meditation, and accept yourself with humility. Accept the beauty that you are. Accept the pure light that you are. Without hesitancy, without argument, accept and get to know God. Experience the bliss of meditation, the bliss of knowing love, silence, and God as a friend. It comes only through humility and with experience that you hold within. And always remember that every morning or every day when you wake up and you look in the mirror, say, I love you. Always. every morning, every day. I love you. I love you. And you will begin to know God more and more as a friend, as your own divinity. For those of you who may be new to the practice of meditation, every day when we wake up, we sit for 15 minutes. First, we wash our hands or take a shower. To wake up, make sure that you're wide awake during your meditation practice. We sit up nice and straight. We're generating kundalini energy. This energy flows up, down, and all around, so we want to sit up nice and straight so that it can flow freely through the portals within your subtle physical body. So we sit for 15 minutes while we focus. In the very beginning, meditation is all about focus. You're focusing on the music that we play, which is infused with enlightened energy to help you to meditate more easily. We focus on chakras. We focus on those energy centers, chakras, within the subtle physical being. We focus on the heart chakra, the heart center that rests in the center of your chest. We focus on the horizon, maybe, the ocean, the mountains, the forests. We focus maybe on a candle flame. You may have a table in front of you with a candle flame and a flower, maybe a photo of a deity that you connect with. And we focus. Eventually, no need to focus. Eventually, you learn to stop thought. And that's the idea. In the beginning, thoughts will come and go like clouds in the sky. Just allow them to go by, right? Don't hold on to a thought. Just allow it to float by like a flock of birds in the sky. And at the end of our meditation, always bow and offer up our meditation to eternity, to the infinite, to God, to Source, in gratitude for all that is, for all that you are. Again, with humility. I know that for some, this idea about God is a challenge because of the programming that most of us have had. To think of yourself as God might be seen as sacrilegious. But even with religion, sitting in silence and realizing your own divinity, your own God within, is truly so enriching. This realization changes your life, but it takes humility. If you're hearing in your thoughts, even as I'm speaking, if you're hearing, no, I'm not God, I'm not God, God's out there. I might be a part of God, but I'm not God. That would be your ego, not your humility, speaking. It takes allowing yourself to let go of your ego, the thing that keeps you separate from all other beings. That I am this, I am not that. That business prevents you from self-realization. I mean, being self-realized is not an anomaly. There are not that many, but there are those who have become self-realized. I could name many. But it takes humility to allow for the idea that you too could become self realized and realize your own enlightenment, the enlightenment that you hold within, the love that you hold within, the all encompassing awareness that you hold within. All right, so we've meditated, we bow to offer our meditation to the universe, and then begins our day. With a clear mind, a clear view, the fog has been removed. We don't have that fog blocking us from seeing clearly, and we begin our day. At the end of the day, it's a good idea for you to meditate once again to remove all of the impressions that you got, that you picked up during the day, right? It's a great way to fall asleep with a clear mind, a quiet mind. All right, I'm going to take myself off camera as we begin to relax the body. Take a deep cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and hold for the count of 3 at the top. Focus all of your attention on your eyes, the muscles around your eyes, and relax your eyes. As you do, your jaw muscles, your facial muscles will also begin to relax. If you have any tension whatsoever in your scalp, relax your scalp. Relax your neck, your throat. Relax your shoulders, relax your chest, relax your upper arms, your lower arms. Relax your hands and your fingers. Relax, relax, relax. Relax your back, the muscles on either side of your spinal column. Relax your abdomen. Release the muscles in your abdomen. Relax your hips, your upper legs, your lower legs. Relax your feet and your toes. Relax, relax, relax. To begin our meditation, I'd like you to place your hands in a particular mudra, is what it's called. Place your left hand under your right hand, very comfortably in your lap, with your thumbs touching. The left hand is for the earth, for grounding you here on the earth, and your right hand above is for your spirituality, your spiritual self, or the heavens. And we connect them with the thumbs. So with your hands placed in this position, we're going to be focusing on a few chakras. We'll focus first on the root chakra that rests at the base of your spine. This is where energy sits, like a coiled snake, ready to be used at your command. This is signified with the color red, resting in your subtle physical body, which basically correlates to your physical body. So we'll focus on this red ball of light at the base of the spine, your root chakra, your foundation. And then we'll focus on the heart center. The heart chakra rests in the middle of the other 3 above, 3 below centers. The 3 below deal mostly with the physical being, the 3 above with the spiritual being within you. So we'll focus on the heart center, the place that's love sits. And this is signified as an emerald green light. If you like, take one of your hands and tap in the center of your chest. Very lightly tap and say, me, me. That is exactly where your heart chakra sits. Wherever you're tapping, me. Then we're going to focus on your third eye. The third eye rests in the center of your forehead, about an inch or so above your eyebrows, signified by a violet or indigo light. Whatever color you see is perfect. So focus on this center. This is where your intuition and psychic abilities sit. Your intuition shows you the way, points the way for what direction to go in any moment. And after we focus on this area, we'll allow the energy, the light that you have generated, to fall over your entire being. So we'll do this quickly. Focus on your root center, the red ball of light, as we take this up to the heart center, the green light resting in the center of your chest, and we'll move it up to your third eye, your psychic center, with violet, indigo, or white light. Focus on your third eye, and now take this energy down around your entire being. Once again, your root center, your root chakra, the red ball of light. Focus there, your foundation. Now take this light up to your heart center, this green light resting in the center of your chest. And then up to your third eye, this indigo, violet, or white light resting in the center of your forehead, where your intuition rests. And take this energy down around your entire being. This light that you are generating, you can feel it. It's generating more and more light within, which allows you to see yourself clearly. It generates humility. It generates love and light. Be absorbed in light. Realize your own divinity. And continue focusing on these three chakras and bringing this light down around you into the first few moments of our meditation music. And then let go. Let go and let eternity do with you what it will. Now, let's meditate. Namaste. Thank you so much for being with us today to learn really more about how to be in touch with your own divinity, the love that you hold within, the light that you hold within, the peace that you hold within, and really how to be friends with God. It's within you, all of it. Anything that I say is only true if it's something that resonates with you. Don't believe me. Don't believe your friends, your family. Most of all, don't believe yourself. Most of all, don't believe yourself. And to only believe something I say if you hold it as truth within your own being. There's nothing new that I have to say to you. Nothing new at all. These are all things that you already know, maybe just forgotten about. I'll look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you once again so much for being here and for having an impact in our world. We need that right now, don't we? An impact of more light, more love on our planet. So thank you for being here to make a difference in our world. Namaste. The light in me sees, honors, and so loves the light in you. I'll see you soon. Thanks.